Hey y'all, it's Erin Stern. It's that time again. It's Q&A video time. The first question comes from Rosa. She asks, if you are doing cardio only, should you still consume protein after the workout? Rosa, whether I'm doing cardio or weight training, I like to consume a good whey protein isolate right after I work out and some carbs also. So between 20 to 30 grams of whey protein isolate and about 20 grams of carbs, and that will help in your recovery, and it also replaces your glycogen stores, which have been depleted through working out, and it also prevents you from overeating when you have your meal. So yes, do consume protein after your workout. The next question comes from Norma. She asks, when you're trying to build muscle, do you eat more? Good clean foods, of course. Yes, it only makes sense that when you're trying to gain lean muscle that you would feed your body more so that it can build muscle. That being said, it needs to be timed properly. So again, going back to your workouts, a whey protein isolate, something that's easily digested and fast right after you work out, and then a slow digesting protein later at night, like a casein or an egg white, egg protein, something like that. And then throughout the day you want to get 5 meals, 5 to 6 meals of proteins, carbs, and good fats. And then on average you want to make sure you're eating 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So you're going to be eating a little bit more protein in order to allow your body to grow. So hopefully that helps. The next question comes from John. He asks, how much time do you allow between sets? Is it different based on how heavy you lift? Do you perform post-workout stretching? And if so, what do you think are the benefits? Okay, that's like 3 questions in one, but we'll go ahead and answer that. As far as time allowed between sets, it does depend on how heavy I lift. So if I'm doing something like cleans, power, squats, where I'm trying to go heavy, I want to get 1.5 minutes to 3 minutes in between sets. It's almost a full recovery. On the other hand, if I'm doing something like supersets or straight sets, it's anywhere between 30 seconds to 1 minute, and that sort of depends on how high I want my heart rate to get, and the less time in between, it sort of helps me get my weights and my cardio in at once. So it helps me burn more calories, especially now when I'm dieting for a show. So, and then as far as the stretching, I absolutely stretch post-workout. And I think the benefits to stretching, well, you keep your range of motion, you allow the muscle to grow because, you're in stretching, you create the micro tears in the muscle, and then by resting you allow the muscle to grow. So I think stretching is beneficial, and I spent some time not stretching, and I felt like an 80-year-old woman, so I definitely will always stretch from now on. The next question comes from Goretti. She asks, what's the best way to measure body fat? And also, what is the best time of day to have it measured? I think the easiest way to measure body fat would be through calipers. That's something that, you have the same person do each time, and there are 9 different sites where the body fat can be tested. I think it's triceps, stomach, thigh, that type of thing. But if you go to a trainer, they'll, or a local gym, they should be able to do a caliper test. I think the most accurate is the underwater body fat measurement, and you're submerged underwater, and that's done by computer. So that's probably the most accurate, but not everybody has access to that. And the best time to get that done is before you work out, because after you worked out, you may be a little swole, so the measurements may be off if you do calipers. The next question comes from John. He asks, what's the best advice you could give to a person like myself who is limited on time and can only get to the gym 4 times a week? I weight train those 4 days, but I don't do any cardio. Would you suggest that I can do, what would you suggest so that I can do weight and cardio? Well, John, I would suggest doing supersets, giant sets, circuits, where you're moving some weight, but you're going from exercise to exercise to exercise. So you're also getting cardio. So you're going to reap the benefits of weight training and cardio. And not only is it quick, it's effective, and you can also split it up to where you're doing supersets and then maybe high intensity interval training, whether you go run stairs, if you do like 10 sets of, a few flights of stairs, just really quick and not much recovery. So the goal is to get your heart rate up and just to keep moving during that time, and definitely keep weight training. So that's it for this week. Thanks for the questions. Until next week, y'all, train hard.